Pat with me, and Nate. How are you today?
Doing good, thank you. Sorry I'm a little late.
No problem at all. We just actually left you a voicemail a second ago, so we're glad you could make it, and we've got some neat technology to talk to you about today. And before we do that, we always like to spend a couple minutes knowing a little bit more about you. We've looked at your site, but maybe you can tell us a little more about your company, and more importantly, maybe tell us a little about your web intelligence experience, tools you've worked with, etc.
Sure. So we're an online publisher as an online magazine, focused on consumer electronics, but more of the lifestyle aspect of them. We're not so much for benchmarks and super technical aspects when we are writing on these. We focus more on how a particular product might benefit you or make your life better type of scenario, or the design and what's cool about it, things like that, so that the average consumer can read about it. You don't have to have like some type of degree or be super geeky. We are, in terms of intelligence, I mean, we use like Google Analytics, New Relic, and some other things. But we haven't focused a lot on it, which is kind of like what made me interested in a little bit of what you guys are doing, to maybe see if you guys provide some tools that we might be able to utilize.
Well, thanks. That's good data. Just a little bit, I like to kind of frame what you're about to hear before you hear it, just so you get some context on our products. Google Analytics, for example, obviously tracks page movement, and then in the end allows you to do some kind of analytic, right? In other words, whether you close or whether somebody signs up for something. That's essentially the idea. That's essentially the idea of the paradigm. In a way, we sort of ask the more provocative question, which is, what about all the people you didn't close? What about all the people that didn't sign up to, sign up to use your site or buy a product, or whatever the case is that you're looking to do? And I always sort of paint the following picture. For every one person that signs up or buys something, there's probably 4 people that maybe start to fill the form out or start the buying process and didn't. And then on top of that, there's probably another 4 or 5 people for every one person that completed the task that may just be kind of lurking around. It's maybe been the site multiple times, that's obviously thinking about it, and just hasn't quite gotten the buy zone yet. That's, to me, the low-hanging fruit, the stuff that if you've got a little bit more intelligent data, you can close those people fairly easily and generate more ROI or generate more information or whatever your site is trying to do. So that being said, we're going to show you a little short presentation. Patrick's going to take you through, and then we'll talk a little bit more and answer your questions and see where to go from there.
Okay.
Patrick?
Hi, Dan. It's Patrick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Last question. Do you guys have any other sites aside from what you see on the screen, digitaltrends.com, that you guys monitor or directly use?
No, digitaltrends.com is our primary. We are launching a new one. We just soft launched it called The Manual, and that's at themanual.com. But other than that, the Digital Trends is our breadwinner right now.
Okay, no problem. So on that note, just to give you an idea, it's usually give 10 to 15 minute capability overview, kind of letting you know what we can do, how it's different. Interrupt me at any time, and from there we transition into specific applicabilities to increase your guys' ROI and give you a clearer picture of what's going on from your business perspective. So,
okay.
All right. Starting here on your guys' site as an example, to elaborate on the point that James brought up, if I'm on your movies page, and let's say I go to the videos page in this case. Regardless of what I did on the page, how much I moved around, if I stopped for 5 seconds and wondered, who's hipkim.com before leaving your site, Google and traditional analytics, they're going to create one record for my transition between going from the movies page to the videos page. They'll say this person went to this page at this time. This page-to-page data is all that the analytics are being accumulated by, is kind of saying what happened in the transition between the path. Big difference between our product here. I want to make sure we're on the same page. You read the word wealth management here, Dan?
Yep.
Okay. Big difference between our product. We invented the first technology that captures the entire online experience of customers on a website. What entire means is, in this case, is I'm writing my name is Bob. I press delete and I click Robert. In this case, not only are we capturing every keystroke that was made to let you know this person's name was Bob, we're able to detect the typing speed based on the pause. We're able to detect the fact that he deleted and went back and wrote Robert instead. We're able to detect if you move around the mouse for 20 seconds and you're stuck at this word, not being able to read it, not being able to click a button. All of these things are stored as an individual record in our system. So you can go back and say how many Bobs, how many people are not sure what their name is. Not a great example, but the capability of going a lot deeper into each micro action, both on an individual basis and also on the macro basis for millions of people a month, saying how many people are struggling here to basically fulfill our primary call to action.
Sure.
All right. So to clarify on that point, from this page I'm showing here, you know, it's a real simple form. It's not something we want to dig into starting out. This page here is macro analysis on that specific form you saw, letting us basically know a few statistics about how efficiently customers filled it out. And in the case here of, this is a wealth management mock. In the case of choosing what your total investable assets are, we calculate how confident the customer was in that selection. And this was catered for banks to know for upsell purposes how sure are they what their actual investments are. This is in addition to being able to have the abandonment rate. You're able to find the people on your site that went through an action. A normal case, they'd have to click submit for a site owner to have this information. In our case, even if Robert had already given his email in advance, he took a look and he left the site for whatever reason, we would have the record stored and automatically notified to say, here's a hot customer who left for whatever reason. Your call, whether you want to call them directly, follow up with them any way you want.
Sure.
So this example is a real basic macro, you know, showing the applicability on a macro level. This next example I'm showing you is a bit more on the micro level, case by case of what people filled out in each time that they enter that form. So if you guys want to have a quick, you know, overview of, hey, why are people not fulfilling our call to action? You don't have to dig around a lot of dashboards. You don't need to dig through a lot of analytics and do calculations. You can get straight to the insight, and you can also know the numbers of what your true abandonment rate is from that, from what you see.
Okay.
Okay. The second half of this equation on our end, so we are the first company to store the entire online experience as a record. The cool part of being able to do that is it lets us recreate in a video of everything that your client actually did from the exact eyes of your customer. So in this example here, regardless of what your customers did, our system lets, aside from storing all this, it lets you watch and view exactly what they did. And when I click this zoom out, zoom in screen here, this actually changes it to the exact resolution of your customer. So if someone's from a mobile phone and you look at specific data, you can take a look and use a lot of common sense to determine what stopped this person to do what we want them to do that we consider a high value action.
Okay.
The last example I'm going to show from here is actually mobile itself, because we're talking mobile. This example here, when we talk about really how deep we're able to go, is the orange and the blue buttons you see are people's actual finger movements as if they were on your website from a mobile device. It's a pretty short demo, so I needed to frame that beforehand. So in this case, you would see the engagement from people's fingers just to understand basically whether or not your mobile site makes sense. Are they getting confused? How long are they staying at a specific instance? And if they flip their phone over, it's not a problem. We're storing everything on the mobile end as well to give complete insight into your business from your customers' end.
Okay.
First, let me stop for a second, make sure all that was pretty clear. I guess you understand what you're seeing here when we talk about, we're recreating a data record from what's already happened here. It is a lightweight script. The load time's less than Google Analytics as an example, with 1,000 times the data. That isn't thrown in your face, but we just give you the option for deeper, smarter intelligence with more data.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I'm familiar with this type of user testing in a sense. Usability testing through other tools that we don't use regularly, but I think we should. So.
Okay, what companies? Just out of curiosity, and we're pretty. Did you use usertesting.com? Is that what you're referencing, or a ClickTail type, or do you know what you guys have used for usability testing?
We've used usertesting.com, which is a little bit different. That's where you kind of write a script for them and ask them to, find a way to do a call to action or something like that, and then watch and listen to what they're doing. But to me, this is almost like an A to B tester, like what was it, Crazy Egg, or those guys used to do. I'm familiar with the suite. Even over at some of my previous companies, like software companies, we used to do this type of thing. So.
Okay. Yeah, that was just a big point I need to stress is Crazy Egg, yeah, they do heat map specific, but there's a company out there who recreates and kind of pretends like they're storing the data, but the big differentiator is they can only do things on an individual micro basis. So basically, if you're recording what your customers are doing, like normal videos, you need to go back and have an editor look through them to understand the insight. With ours, because we have them as an individual record, you can go back and say, I only want to see who moved around for 5 seconds on my site, stopped here and there. So that's the big differentiator from the industry on the 1 or 2 tools out there who are hoping, they can get to the level of depth, but it's more all visual based. So.
Okay.
All right. Now, from this point, I'm just going to show you a couple of quick screens to get those weren't examples of actual usability screens. There's more to understand the concept. This screen you see in front of you here is an example of what you would see on actual live visitor traffic on any specific segment you want to take a closer look at. So in this case, these are 5 people we wanted to look at. This would be the way you would be able to view them and shadow browse if they were actually live. So you can say, hey.
Like we get I don't know, 10 million visitors a month. So at any given time we can have 1,500 to over 10,000 people on the site. So how does this display work then?
Well, first off, we have the capability to view all 10,000, but it's not practical. The way this works is if you say, hey, people from China who are trying to buy widgets on my site, we see that our ROI on them is a lot lower than every other segment, and I don't trust my guys who are trying to tell me why. I'm going to look at this live monitor and only apply it for people from China who are buying widgets. So in that case, you could trim that down to a practical, usable number to solve each individual problem you have on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Dan?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, aside from that, too, when we talk about other than the ability to discover usability and kind of use common sense, which always rules in marketing more than looking at data, to determine why someone's struggling, we also have, live chat features and a few other usability options that apply to servicing the customers as well. I don't know if you guys ever do that based on your site, but if you were to service a customer, it's going to reduce the time for servicing resolution if you can see what they do to supplement what they're saying or, the problems they're having. It's kind of common sense. If you tell Bob to click on the red button at the top of the screen, you need to make sure that he clicked on that red button before moving on. In this case, you do not need that verbal cue to move forward.
Okay.
Aside from this, now I'm actually going to take a step back here just to make sure, kind of answer the questions most people would have. Are you a web-based tool? Is this an on-premise download? It's a lightweight page-by-page script. You can log in the same way as you would. I'll use Google Analytics as a reference because that's what you guys are using. And it's hosted by us. We do provide the option for you guys to host yourself. But I just wanted to show you kind of our transgression from going to what you would normally use to practical use of our video to conclude our little talk here.
Okay.
So this example here, nothing special. We can detect them a lot deeper, but you have the KPIs that you define as the most important to your site. We're going to dig in here on a specific segment of traffic. In this case, it was our case, people using our company name in the search URL. When we do that, we're able to see all of your traffic and the numbers that for the segment we're looking at on a session-by-session viewing, a page-by-page basis as well, the same information in case you wanted to look at an individual page's usability more than looking at the entire path of that visitor. And you can also view the information in a customer view, which customer view means either based on cookie or IP address, whichever we detect is more relevant for your specific website. We're able to define the customers and look at each customer by their entire their history and the entire customer life cycle. Sure. So usability-wise, that's something we stress, is to be able to seamlessly go back and forth, so to speak, from every relevant view once you dig into a segment. From here, when you get this macro view on videos, this is where it actually comes in handy. This is where you can automatically dig into that individual session. On a case-by-case, let's see the page that they happen to be on. From there, assuming that you wanted to look at let's say we use the example from before. I'm looking right now at people from China who are purchasing widgets. So I can look at what they do on an individual page basis, a visit basis. Now, if I'm kind of wondering, why is Bob from China who purchases widgets, why does he keep leaving my site? What is missing about? Is there anything special? Is he an outlier for how I can make more money and close these Bobs? If we go into view details, what this creates is this is a view of Bob's entire customer experience. This is probably not the greatest example, but if he had 10 past sessions here, you would have their whole customer experience directly linkable from this view. So here on the main player, you would see that individual page. Below here, you would see each page within the session that you could scroll back and forth with. I believe I have it open here in an example, where you can go back and forth between the session itself. And if you want to go back to a week before to say what caused Bob to leave the screen, you don't need to dig around a lot of different analytics views here. You have their whole customer history from one loadable stream. So that's just one of the big differentiators we try to get across from a usability perspective, because not to be intimidating with the 1,000 more data stored, we make sure to use it as efficiently as possible and get all the relevant information we can get data-wise from each individual view, so you don't need to teach your people how to use 500 different tabs on the screen. And from here, you can, of course, go back to the last step before. So that essentially concludes our demonstration of being able to, the practical upgrades that our product reveals and the usage of going into each individual customer case. The only other points to make on our end here are we have, do you guys use a tagging system, Dan?
We do.
You guys, the only other detail to mention is we do have a tagging system for practical use here. We have each color is listed from every different view. Our tagging system, just like our initial data source, 1,000 times more information than any other one out on the market, because you can add in, hey, I want to tag someone if they pause for 3 seconds before making a decision on my site. And you have the ability to go deeper for sharper intelligence, and that also makes our system a lot more usable on our end.
Okay.
I want to jump here for a second, just A, to get a little feedback from you, and B, get a sense of, as you roll out your process for rolling out new technology, if you do it annually or as on need basis. So maybe you can give us a little feedback on what you've seen so far and just give us a sense about how you deploy new technology.
So we deploy technology, that really depends. So like in terms of services, we don't do a lot of it. We're a bootstrap company, so the amount of money we spend on signing up for new services is fairly limited. So that's where we typically do as needed. There is a need for us to do like usability and A to B testing. We have a new site design stuff that's going to be launching fairly shortly.
Okay.
But we definitely have goals, like, we need to bring down the bounce rate and increase pages per visitor and things like that. So that's where, like, that originally kind of got me interested when you guys reached out to me about your product. So
okay. Do you feel like what you've seen, would our product meet some of your needs?
Yeah, I think obviously, like, being able to watch how people are interacting with the site, and I mean, that helps with A to B testing. We can look and see what they're doing, what they're missing, and then try a different page layout and see if that improves it. So yeah, I mean, I think that type of thing does help. We don't sell products, but we have user registration, and we have other features that we want to roll out with that, which might help. How do we get more user reviews? How do we get more comments? And, like, see how people are, navigating those pages. That could help.
Okay. So look at your site. So when people click through to buy an LG TV or LG monitor, I'm sorry, what do they get? You guys don't you don't get a piece of that sale. You're just getting advertising space, or I guess what's your model?
So our primary model is advertising. In terms of product reviews, we do have shopping comparison, which we just have a partnership with PriceGrabber. So we do get some money off of that, but that's very, very small compared to our advertising. So obviously, the design around that also matters, and part of we're trying to tackle that with some of the new design that we have rolling out. But again, that's a good example of something that we could benefit from, of trying to. It's not conversion for us in terms of that. That's just trying to get people to see it and click through if they're interested in it. So.
Now, is the amount of conversion, like, let's say, for example, I see an Apple product on it, and I click through to buy it from Apple, is part of your advertising revenue stem from how many people click through and what amount of traffic you do generate to Apple or to other vendors?
No, I mean, that's strictly just a relationship with PriceGrabber. So, like, PriceGrabber pays PPC basically. Okay,
got it. Okay. Well, I think we've sort of touched around, some of the benefits I think our application could have for you. Obviously, usability is a huge one. I think one of the things to drive home, too, is, in general, the way your site looks at people that just use the product. So, for example, at Command Central, your site might look phenomenal, but, somebody necessarily on a handheld that's trying to enter data or look around, that's really useful to get a sense of what the site's really looking like on tablets, on different types of PCs. That's another useful feature that we offer that no one else does. You're actually getting the actual screen that person's looking at. So it's it's really as high as you can go as far as usability, because you're seeing exactly what they see. You're experiencing their site progression right along with them, either by looking at the videos, or you can actually even do it in real time.
Yeah.
So I think those are really good benefits. Any issues you have, anything you've seen, anything that you have either an issue with or a question about?
I think my main one was just, what happens if you have, a lot of that. So, like, trying to track down. Sometimes it's good to see, like, an overall view of where, like, what the general, how someone's using, not because each person can be unique, but if you can get a general consensus of, people just aren't seeing this widget or they're not seeing this button, so maybe we should play with the color or move it. That would be nice. Do you guys do something like that, or?
I mean, that question, I don't think I got the point home enough with the tags and it all comes down to using a lot of different filtration processes to look at answer the questions you're looking at. So I'm going to show you this last view is for a conversion funnel example, which I don't know. Do you guys use that, Dan? Do you guys use conversion funnels regularly to see the path of people who come to your site versus those who log in?
Not right now. We want to do it for actually tracking conversion of people signing up, but we don't do it right now.
Yeah. So for that example too, just to give one, that is an example of something that's a bit more of a microscope focus. In your case, if you wanted to say, I want to know people who come to my site, click on this new mobile ad we had within a section, then end out registering. You'd see the total number of people from step to step to understand how well the conversion was between each step and as a whole. The big difference between our product, as you can probably guess, compared to the others, is you can also dig in and say the people who left. Why did this person leave between this process? It doesn't make sense to me. We have everything strategically linked to get the full picture. So in this case, we were detecting errors on our personal website. And I can click, and from here I can see that particular session and say, okay, I knew that this person didn't do what I wanted him to because we had an error generated from his website. That's something that you can't get just skimming through data, answering the why and not just the what happened. Great, we have 10 people leaving. So don't be, I suppose, alarmed by the low numbers in our examples here. We can manage the level of data you guys get in. We're going to ballpark here and say I'm going to guess that you guys are somewhere between 10 and 50 million uniques a month based on some traffic trending we do. I'm sorry, page views a month. That's going to be a guess, but none of this would change in those aspects, other than you'd probably want tighter definitions for each segment, so so you can practically manage them.
Okay.
I had one question. So, do people sign up? Obviously, your site's primarily informational and advertising generated, but I see some login stuff like that. Is there a sign-up portal for people that come to your site?
Yeah, people can sign up. We require sign-ups for commenting or doing a user review right now. We have other features that we want to add to that to get more people to kind of sign up, but right now it's strictly just kind of commenting or doing the user review. It helps prevent the spammers that come through.
Okay. Because obviously one area that is useful is your ability to track that process, right, for people that start to sign up and don't. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Is there anything related to usability that's preventing them from signing up? Maybe the way it looks on a mobile, maybe it's too difficult to figure out how to do it or to type the data in. So that's a really useful feature as part of our application.
Sure.
Just one last question, just organizationally. When you do new products or new bring new products in-house, is it sort of are you more of a horizontal structure or more vertical? In other words, do you have people in your group that sort of buy into it, or is it just a small team and you guys decide and go upward for approval? How do you guys how does that normally happen?
I guess I need more clarity. Like, you mean when we get a product in for review, or?
No. I meant like take our product, for example. Let's say, for example, that you were interested in it. I'm just trying to understand the process going forward.
Okay.
Do you have a team that normally buys into it, or is it just a small process? How does it work?
It's a fairly small process. I mean, we're a small company, so basically, if there's a service that comes in that I feel like we need, or I want to do, then I just have to check, budget it out, make sure it fits within our budget, get approval from the CFO and whoever the stakeholders are. So like something like this wouldn't necessarily just be my team using this. It would be more of like even the editor-in-chief or somebody playing with this to look and see, and along with like our SEO team and those guys. So it was just seeing who would find it beneficial, and then the cost. So.
Okay. So I guess at this point we probably want to wrap it up a little bit. Do you have any final questions? What we'd like to do, well, actually, let's talk about moving forward. So if I think we've lined out some of the features and some of the benefits for our site. And I think for folks like yourself that have high traffic and have a need to gather more and better intelligence, that's who seems to be attracted to our site. We're generating a lot of interest in that space. So I guess the question is, do you feel like there's enough benefit of what you've seen to keep talking?
Yeah, I do. What I would want to do is maybe get a demo login, and then also like some other. Do you have other clients in our space that maybe I can talk to, how they're using it and what they think of it?
Yeah, we can get some referrals together for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, and so why don't we do this? let's we're going to see if we can get some demo stuff together for you. We'll see if we can get some referrals together for you, and then give me a rough time frame. Let's say, for example, that we get you some referrals and you like the demo. What would be your time frame for wanting to roll out our product?
Well, it depends on the cost. So, like, if the
Okay.
cost is decent and fits within a budget, and I find that people will actually use it, then and if it's just like a total JavaScript tag, I mean, we can roll that out fairly quickly. If it's going to be a longer process in terms of actual dev work and things like that, basically we have to schedule, fit it in with in terms of priorities with everything else that's on the plate.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what.
But it all comes down to cost. I mean, honestly, like everything here is cost. We don't have a VC back or anything like that. Like I said, we're bootstrapped, and everything has to have some type of ROI associated to it.
Got it. Okay. So let me tell you just a couple of things. We'll work out some pricing for you today. You're obviously a really high traffic site, so we have to factor that in. So we do have a promo that ended in December, and we're continuing it through the end of January. And there's a couple of things that we're throwing in as additional pieces of the package. One is we do have a product, just a standalone product called BI, or Business Intelligence. It allows you to track your competitors, so you can get a sense of the traffic of other folks that are in a similar space as you. You also get a sense of any spikes in traffic to them or any changes to their website. So if they're launching promos or doing something, it's maybe a good idea to know about it, in real time, not weeks or months later. We don't really have a chance to respond to it. So it's a really great little product, and we're throwing that as a package in January. Also, the live monitoring is actually another module. So if you want the ability to actually track people live, we offer that ability as part of this promo. What we're doing too is we asking people to sign a commitment letter. Let's say, for example, you couldn't roll it out until February or March. If you make the commitment and sign a commitment paperwork, you lock the price in. And we'll have some pricing. Basically, we're doing a 20% discount, a 20-25% discount off our normal price. We've just got to work it out because you've got a tremendous amount of traffic, so we just got to be able to talk about that, see if we can find the right pricing for you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. So we'll be back to you later today with pricing. I'll probably give you a call tomorrow just to see if you have any questions on that. And if we're cool, then we can talk about getting you a demo and some referrals and getting the ball moving forward.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Hey,
Dan, would you be able to, we haven't asked, would you be able to give us your monthly page views, because our pricing is based on variable, to not, waste each other's time on?
Yeah, let me, give me a sec.
Okay.
I can give you a ballpark. Q4 is our busiest time of year, so, Q1 starts dying down a little bit. So it'll always be a little bit different. Give me a sec.
Yeah, just a ballpark at least to make sure we're on the same page for our internal hosting costs.
I'd say it's going to be between 25 to 45 million page views a month.
Okay. Yeah, and of course we understand uptimes, downtimes, Tuesday, Thursdays when you're going to get all those things don't affect how the product is set up. It's obviously just giving yourselves a window because we're customizing each server that we're setting up to work seamlessly with your websites. That's the information we need to finish and move forward. So.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, any questions from that before we get off the line? Okay.
I don't have any.
Well, okay. Well, hey, listen, we really appreciate your time. We'll have some pricing for you a little later today. We'll give you a quick call or tomorrow to see if you have any questions on our pricing, and then we'll roll from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for your time, Dan.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.
Nate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pat, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just dismissed Dan, so we're good.
Okay.
They're going to be very price sensitive based on the traffic. That's a fact. So I didn't want to say anything whatsoever. I'm going to have to talk to Justin and get back on that. But he's going to be, they're not backed. And to be honest, I'm assuming the traffic's not worth very much individually because they're not selling anything. When you're looking for registrations and conversions in a lot of these cases, this is the site that's kind of the least applicable